Hello and welcome to this session. I would like to welcome Per Bjälnes from Bjälnes, who will be the host of this session. So, Per, I think maybe we can just start. So,
okay, thank you.
Let's start. Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Per Bjälnes. I'm a digital strategist at a department called BAX, Business Area X within Bjälnes. Bjälnes works with building smart communities for today and for tomorrow. So we are a society builder. And my department, BAX, is driving the digitalization, development, and innovation, both internally and externally for BAX customer. So welcome to this session. We will talk about object and asset information for anyone at any time. So, okay, why should we digitalize? For what purpose and what goal do we have for our digitalization? For the customer, for the end user, for the company. And I will present a customer case. It's called Øken Portal in Norway. And they have been very focused on actually the customer, the end user, in every perspective, actually. So here's some examples that they have made and what they have presented to their tenders to take part in this project. So very much focus on the worker having balance in their daily life, so they can offer all kind of smart services, make it easy to go there, easy to use all the type of services that are available at this site. And what we're doing here is using the digital twin as a platform, as a hub to change information from all the kind of different services that are in the building, focusing on the end user. And of course, it should be sustainable in all levels at all time. And how we can measure carbon footprint for the customer, the end user, just when I'm just visiting the building or the services I can use at the building. And also have, we collect lots of data so we can measure why does this happen at this time with this number of people or events, or what's actually happening in the building in a sustainable way. And also make it a marketplace so we can share information, share services, having platform to share services. So I can find, for example, if I book my lunch before 10, I will have 5 to 10% discount because the restaurant know how much food they're going to produce and where they should have it outlet in, because it's, I think it's 6 or 8 different service places with different food outlets. So even after, if there are any leftovers, they will have a notice saying I can pick it up when I go home, for example. And also have, of course, as a seamless experience. So as it's easy, I go to my iPad or my smartphone, collecting information. This place should be easy like that to find things, services, or pick up things that I'm interested in. So we have made a pamphlet of different services that can be available. And all these type of availables are either on your own site or before you go there or after the visit. So if you can imagine, I can reschedule my day because suddenly there's a new offer in the restaurant or event on the roof or anything else that can happen. I can easily get that information or be pushed to me that type of information that because I'm interested in it. So we're trying to do a platform of information, and both down on object side to services to actually adapt to different application. Or we have what we call an Øken Portal app Right now there are food, parking, charging, booking conference rooms, and that type of things that are quite easily to adapt to. But you can see here is a lot of more things we can do that's possible in the future to actually get that type of information or services. But how do you do that is we need to get a hold of the information, the structure of the information. So in this project, we have been very focusing on how the object structure looks like, how the asset structure connected to the object, connected to the building, the BMS system, and all the IoT devices are connected to this structure. So we can find that information anywhere. And we also been very focused on that quality assured. So it's the right information from the right place at the right time. And for that, you need process, a lot of processes. And that's been one of the hardest parts, to actually structure that process and changing the way of working with the type of data, because we call it digital asset information work process. That can, how you actually change from a quite analog facility management way of working with information to a totally digital way of handling information. And that's a really long and tough road to walk, actually. So process, way of working, and how do you actually present, use that as a human being? Because it suddenly is totally different. You don't have PDFs, you don't have use your mail or wherever you find your information. Suddenly it's available. You need to be secured. It needs to be available for anywhere at any time. So we really need to work on the process for the humans also, or the third-party provider or whatever it is that needs that type of information. And of course, this makes it possible to do other things for business development. Can we find new services, smarter services? Can we invite others to use that information to find out new smart services? So it's going to be like a test bed for testing new services or application or new innovation about sustainability, for example. Can we find out smarter way of doing things? Can we be more predictive or even cognitive in the future? So it's really good to really gather that type of information, because we know what, where, when, not whom, but someone have this pattern or use this space in a certain way at a certain time of day. So suddenly we can layer things atop of each other, so we can really find out why things happens, and can we change that? Can we nudge it? Yeah, it's probably we can find out things that we don't even can imagine today. And at least, and in the end, we talk about technology. We talk less about technology in this project and in others, actually, because we are really focused on the information, but we need technology. And here's another hard part of it, is to how can we say that we will change information when we're saying we have an open API? Yes, that's good. But the problem is, if I open that door, I don't actually know what I'm going to get. How often, in which amount, in which condition did this data come to me? And there's I really beg you to think about that when you just say in demand, I have or I can want an open API. It needs more than that, just saying that. You need to find out what type of, how often do I want this data to make the services I want to produce to my customers. To do that, you need some kind of information model in each stage. Design, production, maintenance. We usually have this type of procedures or workflows, procurement, room function data, or processing data for relation to rooms and all that type of stuff. And hopefully we have a development process for compliance, for example. But you also need some kind of digital transformation flow or processes over this project from end to end, and always look at end in mind. What do I need in the end of this project, or what do I need in the end of this maintenance, the LCC, the LCA? Can I provide data from day one, or structured data from day one through the whole process? Or can I even, in a smart building, get that data from the maintenance to make it smarter from the beginning? Do I have that type of data? And how can I use that in my design process, for example? That's in the future will be really interesting. Can we really, do we need have a blank paper each time? When can we get that smart information to build smarter buildings from the beginning? Yeah, so the platform, some kind of platform do you need? And we say one building, one information platform. Let's start with the model. Yeah, we say that everything that's in here have a name convention. In the Norwegian case, is they call it TFM. That's quite good. It's not all the way, but it's good enough actually, if everyone follows it, of course. And in this case, we have used the BIM 360 docs and BMI to store object information, asset information, and that in this case, they're called FDV, facility management information, service as built data, and all that kind of stuff is stored here. It's cloud-based, of course, and it's also connected to the actual BMS system, saying all the data, all the object structure in the model are the same in the BMS system. So it's called the same. So even the IoT devices has a TFM code. So I can either click on the IP address and find out what TFM code do that object has in the model or the BMS system. So I can search either way. And this will be connected to how do I actually work with this type of information? What type of services, SLAs do I have on this particular part of the building? What's the status of the information? And what type of SLAs, KPIs do I have connected to this customer, to this area, to this type of services? So I can give that information to the user, the end user, or the company, or other services, like in this case, we're going to use Google Indoor Maps as a service in their application. So can we feed that? Have we changed the model? What's the status on that space? What type of services do I have on that space? And give that as a service to the company, to just occasionally a visitor, or can I make predictions to find out, can I have it order saying that I want this type of temperature, or I want to have this airflow because I'm going to have this type of services, or that this occupant need this type of environment in this space. Can I order that the other way, saying, can I order this area to have this type of temperature or airflow, whatever there is, by just using my application to do that. So how does it work then? We use this type of application, and we have been hunting. We have chasing the construction companies to actually give us the information in right time, in right structure, in the right place, in these different services, so we can map that to the real model, or actually, unfortunately still are drawings, but mostly are our molds. So we can, this is real. This is the right quality, the right type, all the objects that we need for the services. And we are using the Forge API to connect that in the cloud, so we can have this type of services to the end users. That can be sales, marketing, field service, customer service, finance services. You can just imagine what type of information or predictive solutions we can have in the building when we have all this data available online all the time, and we measure and we keep data to make this type of analytics. Also down to supply chains, retail, because this is a service center. There are lots of, as I said, restaurants, there are training centers, there are different type of hairdresser, even thinks it's a flower store, to actually really help them to have this seamless information flow from the model, if it changed, or the services from the BMS system and to the actually tenant or the visitor in the building. And of course, it's very focused on sustainability, and we think that sustainability and digitalization is the real driving force in the future. Because can we measure things? Can we nudge people changing their behavior by knowing, not you especially, but us as a group, how we behave or how we do things? Can we change that easily, seamless? We have come real far to actually try to get to the goal of the sustainability. So I think it's really important to think in that perspective, to give people information that they can use and that can change their behavior. And I think we have come quite far, actually. I will actually stop there. So thank you for your attention. Please, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Per, for your presentation. And we will soon be back in another session. So thanks.